family and friends of Janesville 99, distinguished community leaders, veterans and families, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the opportunity to say a few words this evening as we honor and remember the men of the Janesville 99. Thanks to Kurt Parrish and Sue Connolly for the invitation, and a special thank you to Council Member Brian Fitzgerald for sharing the video documentary In the Hands of the Enemy. What a truly powerful story and a collection of memories. As an Army tanker, I feel an immediate connection to the men of Company A, 192nd Tank Battalion. I know the pride and joy that comes from mounting an armored steed like a tank, hearing the roar of its engine, the whine of its transmission, smelling the distinct odor of refined fuel, rumbling down roads and across open terrain at high speed, crushing anything that gets in the way and killing the enemy at distance. The armor branch finds its roots in the heavy cavalry of old, where warrior and horse fought as one, bringing shock effect to the battlefield. Likewise, I know the bond between soldiers that survivors in the documentary spoke of, a bond that is formed in professionalism, discipline, and unit pride. And for the Janesville 99, a bond that was even stronger due to the already present sense of community and family that came from Janesville. But soldiers don't fight for Americana, for baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. They fight for each other. They fight for the soldier on their left and to their right. I too understand hardship. I've seen death and witnessed the horrible atrocities of war. But my hardships simply pale in comparison to those which the Janesville 99 endured for 4 long years. I mentioned that soldiers fight for each other, but they survive and endure for family and community. For those able to return, they survived and endured because of what was here in Janesville. This community was their home and their livelihood. Most importantly, I pray in my most intimate conversations with God that atrocities like the Bataan Death March never occur again. Our government should ensure that our armed forces remain the best trained and best equipped military on the face of the earth. And our military leaders should never put American forces in a position where surrender or death is the only option. Our sons and our daughters, and truly our future generations, deserve nothing but. This ceremony tonight should remind us of a great generation, men who proudly served this nation and our community. Some paid the ultimate sacrifice. Others returned to tell their story. We can never forget. Even today, one U.S. Army soldier remains a prisoner of war in Afghanistan. Held since June 2009, Sergeant Bo Bergdahl remains a captive of the Taliban-aligned Haqqani network. I ask that you keep Bo and his family from Haley, Idaho, in your prayers until he is released and reunited with them. As I wrap up, I'd ask that we as a community pray for peace and never forget the Janesville 99. As City Manager of the City of Janesville, I do make this proclamation here before you this evening. Whereas April 2014 marks the 72nd anniversary of the infamous Bataan Death March of World War II, in which 76,000 troops from the United States and the Philippines were surrendered to the Japanese and marched 66 miles to prison camps in the Philippines. And whereas 99 soldiers in Company A, 192nd Tank Battalion, Janesville, Wisconsin, known as the Janesville 99, were among that number. And whereas American and Filipino troops endured malnutrition and deadly disease even before the march, suffering 3 days without food or water during the 5-day march during the hottest weather of the year, and incurring beatings or death for falling behind. And whereas more than 5,200 American troops and nearly 20,000 troops perished in the Bataan Death March and in the death camps, and whereas the men of Company A of the 192nd Tank Battalion, Janesville, Wisconsin, had the courage to march to their deaths in this most cruel example of man's inhumanity to man. Now therefore I, Mark A. Freitag, City Manager of the City of Janesville, do hereby proclaim the week of May 25th to May 31st, 2014, Janesville 99 Week in Janesville, Wisconsin, and encourage every person to reflect on the sacrifices made by our military everywhere, especially the Janesville 99, and to prompt our citizenry to educate themselves on the Bataan Death March and on prisoners of war, dated this 25th day of May 2014, signed Mark A. Freitag, City Manager. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you.